Welcome to another episode of That's What They Said podcast, where we question the questionable lyrics of your favorite songs. Sarina&Scott Spinelli, and today we're talking "The Boy Is Mine" by Brandy and Monica.
He's mine. No, it's mine.
Yours.
Boy's mine.
Scott has claimed the boy. He is the boy.
The episode is over. The boy is mine.
If you were curious who it belonged to,
this boy belongs to me. Yes.
Thank goodness that LaShawn Daniels, Jaffney Dehada, Fred Jenkins III, Rodney Darkchild Jenkins, and Brandy all decided that when they wrote this song, it was for Scott Spinelli.
Yes.
This song was released as the lead single for both singers' second albums in 1998, and this song was huge.
Oh yeah.
Big song. Big deal.
Now I love this song. Did you love this song?
I still love this song.
Yeah, exactly. When we first started recording, you had it on and you were doing your little, doing your little, your shimmy and you're doing your bop. I see you.
It's such a good song. It's catchy.
It is. And you know what I like about it too? So many of the songs we've done have been like they're one note, and whatever it is, it just keeps repeating. Not even just lyrically, like it'll just be the same thing over and over and over again. Whereas this kind of has like different, like feelings to it throughout the song. There's different. I'm somebody who knows music better. The tempo, the pitch, whatever the term is.
One day we'll have one of those people on.
Yeah. Yeah. 30,000 episodes in. What's the difference between a harmony and a melody? I'm sure, by the way, I'm almost certain there's a difference. I use them as if they are the same word. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't ask.
Well, it's like, this isn't speaking of which, I've always said who. I know who and whom have different meanings, right? Grammatically. I use whom when I'm trying to sound fancy, and I use who when I don't care, which I know is not. Can you imagine if that was in the dictionary definition? When you're trying to sound like a pompous douche, use whom, because that's a fancy way to say who.
Honestly, that's really how I think about it, and I'm sure my mom.
There's no way we're the only people that.
I'm like, Mom, what the hell is the difference? They all know what it means. It's fine.
I got one for you. I got one for you. When I was younger, my mom really laid the smackdown correction. We'll get back to The Boy Is Mine in hour 3 of this episode, but but my mom, I used to say, what was it? I said irregardless. That's not a word. She hated that. It's just regardless, she would say to me. But I would say intensive purposes. For all intensive purposes, like the purposes are very intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. and then I don't know, intense and purposes. I learned that far later. It's almost as if I was in my mid-30s and learned that Next, the Too Close song, was about erections. Imagine how stupid you would feel if that was the case for you. Remember, you can imagine. Yeah, I don't know anybody that fits that.
A couple previous episodes, just go back to that one. Or like the fact that you heard poisoned rationality.
I still maintain that was the better lyric.
It is actually a really good point. Yeah. So we're just going to go back to all of the episodes we've already done just to call each other out on how stupid we are. So this is good. Yes. Anyway, whomever we're talking about, let's get back to Brandy and Monica. The Boy Is Mine. It was inspired by Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney's 1982 duet, "The Girl Is Mine,"
which is a good song, nice little banger, yeah.
Yeah. The lyrics are basically two women fighting over a man, and as a kid, I kind of always thought these two women had beef.
So that was the thing. That's the interesting thing about this song. Right now, and I'm so sure you did. I watched some interviews, and we're so far removed. I think they're actually right around the 20th anniversary of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah,
is that right?
They did a versus. More recently,
there's something, maybe it's right. When did it come out? 2002, you said?
Billboard, 1998.
Okay, so 24 years at this point, right? But at any rate,
good math.
Unless we release this next year, we're taping 6 months out.
Yeah.
So. There was a story. So first of all, I think it only was performed live with the two of them once.
That's wild.
And it was performed once with Brandy by herself, which I would imagine did not make Monica happy. And the story that, what was his name? Dallas Austin, the producers, told was that Monica just straight up cold cocked her backstage before the performance. So it was either at the MTV Awards or the AMAs or something. They just boom, just landed and it wasn't like, oh, I heard this. As he tells the story, he was there and saw it. You know what I mean? So now they've come out and said things like, oh, that beef was generated for publicity, or we really liked each other. My read on it, completely uninformed as it is that no, they did not like each other. But that since that point,
they're okay now.
Yeah, they were kids. They were probably what, 17, 16?
Yeah, these two. I mean, they're saying it boy. They're not saying the man is mine. They're
yeah, exactly.
Is mine.
Which made sense because they were kids.
Right, they were kids. It was funny. In 2015, Monica had talked about that people are always asking her like, "Who's the boy?" And there was no boy. There was never a boy. Oh yeah, they were 16 and 17 years old. So
I don't know why people would be. I mean, I guess let me rephrase. I get it why someone might be confused, but I don't know. To me, that was never.
Yeah, I'm confused. You're like giving that. Sorry.
May I continue? No, I led right into that. I walked right into that. I don't have any real confusion as to who the boy was. That never, because at least as I was aware of the song, they were never that tight. So it wasn't, and Brandy wrote the song, or at the very least, her team wrote the song. So it was never like this collaborative thing.
Right. I know they just brought Monica in to do the other side because it was when Brandy was writing this song, they ended up saying like, oh, we should have another person in this. It was supposed to just be her, right?
Yeah, I mean it's exactly, and then it didn't work as a solo, and they brought her to work it as a duet. It's not like, and I know I'm obligated to bring up R. Kelly every single episode.
It's impressive. It's impressive.
He's the guy. Like I said, I've said it before. He put the R in R&B. It was just and B before he got there. Now he put. I mean, I think I've used this joke on a previous episode, but he put the R in penitentiary, as it turns out.
Sure did. Yeah.
I definitely did. I'm recycling R. Kelly jokes. Yep.
Oh, I can't wait for like episode 200. Here's another R. Kelly reference.
Don't know why my comedy career never took off. Can you imagine it? Broadway Comedy Club in New York City. Scott, we love your attitude on stage. We love your energy. We just want you to tone down the R. Kelly material. And I go, is it offensive in any way? No. At this point, he's not in trouble yet. No one cares, really, quite frankly. But the point here is that they did Same Girl, him and Usher. And that song may have been written about somebody. And in fact, that song builds to a head about, turns out, they are dating the same girl, and they didn't know and all that. Whereas in this case, they don't really know that it's you don't know who's going to win. There's no victor at the end.
Yeah, there isn't. I mean, and we could talk about the music video in a bit, but yeah, like Mekhi Phifer, who's in the music video, like would have loved to have seen at least if one of them dated him, but
I don't know if they did. In my brief searching of it, I think it was just a case of the whole song was sort of like a Frankenstein monster of you've got two pop artists who are popular that they want to have work together, and then you've got this guy, this actor who is sort of popping at that time, and Brandy. I don't know the exact timing of it, but I'm pretty sure Brandy and him were in I Know What You Did Last Summer 2 right around that time, or somewhere in that range. So there was like a lot of it was just like guy,
like Brandy, like a huge R&B like singers like in I Know What You Did Last Summer 2. I don't know. It's just when they like jump into other. I know we see that like Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift, like people are in. Harry Styles is in movies and he sings, but at that point I'm like, I mean, I guess you're not really expecting that much of like an acting level. It's really screaming in those movies, right?
Yeah, that movie is just running upstairs while a guy with a meat cleaver comes after you. That's really the entirety of the plot. But I mean, at some point, frankly, I mean, if you remember the plot of those movies, like at some point those kids deserved it. They didn't tell. They just ran away from a murder scene
and didn't say anything.
Yeah, they didn't say anything. It's like, yeah, frankly, I know what you did that summer too, and I am not happy about it either. I take his side. It's like, at a certain
trying
point,
to like bring it up, like, hello, you guys keep ignoring me.
And if they had just honored him the first time, the movie would have ended. Now they go on tropical vacations together. It's like, no, it's enough. You all deserve to die in horrible ways. That's really what it comes down to.
Thinking about like the Halloween movies with what's her face, who's like in every single one of them. She's like outlasted all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last one, was called Halloween. It's Halloween End or something like that. I was like, this is who are you kidding? It's not ending. You're not gonna end it. Jamie Lee Curtis is her name.
Thank you, Jamie Lee Curtis. Like she's still
she's
fighting that guy.
Him and her and Michael, right? Yeah.
How old is that guy? Like, how is he still able to like lift things up? Like,
they're in their 70s going after like, don't come after me. And then the chase scene is them just slowly ambling down.
Like they're gonna be in the hospital, like stabbing each other with like a tube. Just like take it out of there. I don't know.
They both slip somewhere, and then she goes back to help him because his hip came out. You know.
Oh man. All right, back to Boy's Mind.
Yeah, back to the Boy's Mind. Sure. Yeah.
It hit number 1 on the Hot 100 for 13 weeks. Back in 1998. This was a number 1. This was a number 1.
Yeah. Hell yeah, it was. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was. So let's get into the lyrics.
Let's do it.
The beginning I like because it's, what is that, a harp or whatever, whatever that is. I didn't do it right.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I know what you mean.
It's catchy as hell. And then they kind of have this like conversation where Brandy's like, "Excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute?" Yeah. And Monica's like, sure. You know, you look kind of familiar. Like, you know who each other is. Like, you know. Stop this crap. Like, who you is, girl.
Who that?
You know it's
It is. It's an absurd. Some of these intros, like the one we did for Shaggy, that one kind of started you off on the right way because it was like, you let her catch you, and then you're in there.
Right.
This one to me was not necessary. Again, all they really go back and forth is saying like, he's mine. No, he's mine. It's like, yeah, the song is called "The Boy Is Mine." We know that a beef is about to go down here. We know
understand that. That's very clear in the title.
Yes.
I always thought it'd be funny though. Like, imagine, they're like, you know that I know this guy, and he's like, yeah, he's a twin, and then the song like ends.
This ends. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's awkward.
Was that the end of the same girl thing? You know what? I'm gonna look that up right now. Let's
Please.
You go and.
Okay, I'll keep going while you research stuff. We do this every once in a while.
Yep. I'm listening though. Yep.
He's listening.
I'm listening.
I do. Well, one, I think it's perfect because Brandy and Monica's voices in general lend each other perfectly to this song because Monica has a more clean voice and Brandy has that little bit of a raspiness to her voice. And so the back and forth, it works because I can tell who is singing at any particular time versus it's like sometimes I'm like, I don't know who's singing right now.
By the way, confirmed they were identical twins in the video. So for those of you wondering,
what video?
In the same girl video.
Thank you. In the same girl video. Okay, great.
Yeah, I thought that was the case. Anyway.
There you go.
No, I agree with you. In this song, sometimes with these duets, you're like, who's singing here? Who's who? And their voices complement each other well, and you can tell whom is whom. Yeah.
It is also it is funny. They're pretty polite. Like a lot of times, like you need to give up. Had about enough. It's hard not to see the boy is mine. I'm sorry that you seem to be confused. It's almost like polite instead of being like, yo, you stupid, that's my guy, and leave me like enough. No, it's like, I'm sorry. This is like, bless your hearts.
I also like how you went right into, you brought the block right out there. You went right into it. You didn't even hesitate. No, I'm with you. I think it is a little, I mean, I guess it makes sense though. They're starting out like, hey, like most fights don't start at 10. They start at like a 1 or 2. Like, hey, by the way, I think you might. By the way, like if it started out with like Eminem, that Eminem song, "Bitch Please," you know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, all right, tone down. This is too. We got 3.5 more minutes left. If you're this angry right away,
You're right, because it keeps. I tried to hesitate. It keeps going, but then it becomes like, no, the boy is mine. Like, that's it. Like,
well, in that first verse, the thing that always gets me is when actually I forget who says it now, but she goes, I didn't want to say what he told me. He said without me, he couldn't make it through the day. Ain't Monica. That a shame? Monica. And I was just, Monica said, and I was just like, all right, first of all, he couldn't make it through the day without you? Really? Like, if I was a woman, or let me rephrase, if I was a man and a woman told me that I literally cannot make it through the day without you, I'd be like, whoa, Nelson, we need to pump the brakes.
It's a lot.
That's intense.
It is.
Yeah, it almost sounds like Monica at that point is explaining why the boys should be Brandy's. Like,
take them. I don't.
You
really
can
want
have it. Yeah, he's
The
yours.
day. Like, well, what are you doing? Like, who wipes your butt? Like,
yeah.
Really?
I literally, Monica, I love you so much. If you don't pick me, I will kill myself. That's it. Like, sounds like it's intense.
You have another woman. She's saying that you belong to her anyway.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. It is funny. Like, also, when will you get the picture? You're the past and I'm the future.
Hold on, wait a minute. That's exactly. I have that exact line written down too.
It's freaking awesome.
I love that line.
It is. When will you get the picture? You're the past and I'm future. Yeah.
And the way they sing it is so cool too. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. But also, like, you're the past of my future. I'm like, again, and we could talk about the music video in a bit, but it's like y'all are two fighting over, like, neither of you should want him at this point.
Yeah, it does seem. I mean, can we get to the music video, or do you have more lyrics to get to?
No, we can go.
No, I mean, please. It's you're guiding the ship here. Don't let me.
No, I think we can go to the. I mean, it's pretty clear.
I like how you just went. I gotta get a little closer to see that.
Read the lyrics. I have glasses on.
Yeah.
No, but that part of the lyric to me stood out. I had it written down, so it's fine. I have the whole lyrics up on my computer screen to also.
Same here. I just don't need to be an inch away from the screen to participate.
Because you're wearing glasses. I'm.
No, I took off my lashes before the filming of this, so I could wear my glasses. No, go ahead. What?
No, I want to go to the music video now. I want to talk about Mekhi Phifer.
So what I was gonna say was, to your point about you don't like, why, like, at this point they should just both be like, all right, you can have him.
Take him.
That's what the music video, the point, if if everybody remembers the end, is at the end, it's like they're both just get away from me. I don't want anything to do with you. And my favorite part of that, first of all, they have the longest railroad apartments in history. Yes. Right? That just keep on going and going and going, that are exactly the same, just slightly different color patterns.
Colors, yeah.
Yeah. And then their doors are right next to each other. And what my favorite thing is, like, they're just gathering up his shit so they can throw it out. And the one thing, I think it's Monica, she gathers like a teddy bear and a football. You remember that?
That's the best part. Yes.
And then she's just like, get this out of my house. And I remember thinking, like, what was the scenario wherein he brought a football into her apartment to play catch inside? What was the? And this is not just a guy-girl thing. How many men are just playing catch football at a certain age and that aren't professionals? And number two, how many guys are playing catch football with their girlfriends? Really?
Did he come back from a football game and he's like, I'll leave this here in case I need it. But also, I hate that it's like, we have to prove that there's masculinity in this.
Yes.
Body. So it's like, here, give him throw the football out. You'll get the teddy bear. Maybe there's a hockey stick or something.
Yes. I was surprised Brandy didn't throw a wrench out. You know what I mean? Just. He loves cars. He started up. He's a real
some spackle.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Here's just like
just random fix-it tools. Yeah.
What else gets some musk? Musk.
She just throws out beef jerky. Get out of here, you.
It's so ridiculous when they're like, take all this. I would have kept the football, honestly. Like, this is.
Yeah. And the teddy bear. You're only hurting yourself. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
I mean.
What do you keep stuff? Do you throw things out? Like, I mean, there's the memory side of things when you're like, I'm done with you, but.
Sure.
Maybe the teddy bear, but I'd keep the football. Like, if there were like valuable things, like a.
Sure. I mean, they got rid of it too fast. The other thing to me that was interesting, as far as there's a part where I just wanted, again, it's not real, but this is what we do here. Like, whenever one of them brought them to her house and they lived right next to each other, you would think that at some point he would have given himself away, like told on himself, so to speak.
They're right next door. They live next door.
Either he would have been like way too commonly familiar with the floor layout, or he would have been like, oh, I know who lives. Like, he would have said something to give away, or like he just knows. Like, for instance, the first time you've taken a guy to your home, whoever you were dating at the time, he doesn't know what's going on. And if he was really familiar with the layout, you'd be like, how do you know that door doesn't close? Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right. That's
So I think what we have figured out here is that there are some plot holes in this music video.
absolutely error.
Yes.
When we talked about this before, I think you made a funny point about when they're sitting with their girlfriends and they're talking about like, oh, this guy, and they're talking about the girls around Brandy and Monica in their separate apartments that are right next door to each other.
Yeah.
Their friends seem very disinterested. They're like,
oh,
they're modeling. They're like,
couldn't care.
Not even
pretending to listen.
They're like, This is not like a Taylor Swift music video. This is like, I've heard this story already.
Yeah, there's one of two things going on. Either they've heard that story a million times, like you said, or these are just the most narcissistic friends on the planet that they're just like, my friend's going through a tough time. I'd rather stare into space.
Yes.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I've heard this freaking story, Monica. Let him go. Like, stop fighting for him. This is the show Love is Blind on Netflix. This is exactly what this is. In season 1, it's Jessica. And in season 2, it's Shayna. Stop fighting for a dude that doesn't want you. I mean, clearly he wants both of them, but.
By the time this comes out, it'll all be over. But in season 3, it may be Raven.
Ooh, did you already start watching?
You know your boy's up and caught up. You know that. I mean, like I said.
It started today.
Side note on that, a friend of mine told me about this show when the first season came out. And she said to me, she was like, you'd really like this show. Because we discuss movies and TV shows back and forth. And she has a really good sense for she's just I respect her opinion on. I respect her opinion on stuff. We don't always like the same thing, but she has a really good sense for it. And she told me that I would like this show. And I was like, listen, I'm not trying to be too cool for it. I just don't really watch that stuff. I've watched like The Bachelor before. I get why people like it. It's just not my favorite thing. And she was like, no, you have to watch it. I could have written a thesis paper on that first season. I was so into it. Oh my God. I was obsessed.
I've seen even like the after, like.
Nothing's shittier than the after ones, and I've watched them too.
I have too. I'm like, you know what? I just want to know till the end what happens. I need to know Jessica's still miserable. I need to know that what's that guy, Matt, everyone calls him by his last name. He's still with the chick who's very aggressive.
Oh, Barnett and Amber.
Barnett and Amber. Whoa.
Yeah. How about that?
Don't go past it. You really do know way too much about.
I know the show. I like the show. I'm not embarrassed about it. I like the show. I mean, it's a
good show.
It is a very fascinating show. I always think, like, imagine if one of my friends, like, if I said to you, hey, by the way, I'm going to go on this show where I get married in 10 days. You'd be like, what? And I go, oh, no, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you the most important part. I won't have seen them beforehand. You're like, what?
Yeah. I mean, look, they get to, like, say no at the altar, but they have to go through this process up until.
And embarrass their family and everybody. They should have you heard about the sequel that's coming out, Love is Deaf, where you can actually see the person, but you can't hear them?
Are you I was like, wait.
That's a joke, yeah.
I was like, that's actually funny.
I actually think that's just called real dating. That's just called real dating.
Oh man, I mean, is there any reason why you'd fight so much for a guy who brings over a football and a teddy bear every once in a while?
No, I think while the song and the video diverged, I do think at the end both of these women made the right choice by saying, hit the bricks, pal, we're done.
Yeah, they both are in the same apartment. It's Brandy, and then it opens a little more, and it's like, oh, it's both of them. She went next door. She realized.
We figured you out.
We should hang out more often. I got wine next door. So do I. Oh, we have the same apartment.
She goes, wait a minute. You have 4 or 5 friends just sitting there waiting to not listen to you? I have that too.
I should paint my wall. Your color is pretty cool. I remember the set. It was very bold, like purple, like blues. I mean, it was a nice apartment. I think of like New York railroad apartments that go on and on and on. And I'm like, man, all I needed was like some paint. I could have had
a lot of satin, if I'm not mistaken.
A lot of shine. A lot of shine.
Yes, shiny fabrics for sure.
Dark, but like one light.
Yes.
And then their phone call, like where they're listening, but mine, that part, that's great too. It's a good song.
Also just a very dated thing in the sense that like nobody calls anybody anymore. And like the very notion that they're going to have this big revelatory thing not done over text or like Instagram DM. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of a funny relic of the time.
It's dated. I wonder if this song like now things get like brought up on TikTok a lot, and I'm like, this is such a dated song because you're right. Like you would never that no one has a landline anymore at all,
No.
right?
But I think the sound of it, I think in the very beginning it does sound a little 90s, but as it goes on, I think it's still
good.
I think the song still works. Yeah. I have a 16-year-old niece. I'm gonna ask her if she'll knock it.
All right.
I'm curious to know if she's interested. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm gonna comment on our video. I'll be the one commenter.
You have any final thoughts? I thought this song very good for karaoke, but it's always hilarious how bad people's voices are compared to Brandy and Monica.
I've done karaoke with you. I can't stand karaoke in general. Whenever I see karaoke, my first thought is, who does this better? The actual artist.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Your point that that people sound better, or that you don't realize how bad you are until you compare them to them. But that's that. Yeah, to me, you file that under the no shit label because it's like, yeah, that's why they're professionals, and you're in a bar in Koreatown. Yeah. So.
Great though. I love it.
Mm-hmm. But no, I have no extra thoughts on this.
Okay, perfect. Well, the boy is mine. And that's it for Brandy and Monica. Scott Spinelli, Sarina Morales. That's what they said. We'll see you next time to talk Love is Blind season 3.